Hey everyone, I am the TheChosenOneLegend here, as always joined by my co-host,
Hi, I'm Kai, also known as Fascurreyn.
and welcome back to the BunchaJokahs, where we're here, once again, earlier than anticipated, to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because they dropped a new trailer, and, we're just going to get straight into things here. We're doing two different videos on this, so there will be a video going in depth on the gameplay on our channel, so keep an eye out for that. Of course, still we'll put a link in the description, but if you just go to our channel, you can see that video. But in this one, we're going to be talking about all the things we learned from the gameplay, or not gameplay, from the characters and the story. You know what, Kai? It's been a busy time. In
Yeah,
fact, I'm going to pass it
it's
over
been
to
a
you on
lot.
that note because you've collected most of the information here.
Yeah, so of course the trailer was only like 3 minutes long, and they call it the release date trailer, which I find funny because although the release date
Yeah,
is a whole thing, which we could talk about that in either video,
yeah.
but that's definitely a topic. But despite that, there was so much in both story and gameplay. So much so that we are splitting it up into two different videos. So I spent all of the night it was released, and this morning as well when we're recording this. And yeah, I've just been gathering all the notes I can. I know, mate, you've been grabbing some screenshots for the video and that sort of stuff.
Oh yeah.
So we've got a lot of stuff ready, a lot of speculation ready. So today we're going to be going through everything to do with the characters and story, just kind of touching on everything we see, including the environments we see, characters and what their possible stories are. We've grabbed a lot of information from the Japanese Xenoblade 3 website because there's a lot more there than the UK one, I promise you.
Yeah.
And when I quite literally scrubbed through the trailer frame by frame to get all this, so I've probably still missed something, but hopefully we land a lot of the marks
We
on
should
today's
cover a
one.
lot of bases, and there will be timestamps in the description if you want to hop about between the different topics, because there will be quite a few from what I've got here.
Yes, so we'll kick things off with the characters and
Hmm.
go straight into basically the main six. This is already established. Noah, Mio, Uni, Lance, Taeon, and Cena.
Hmm.
Um, this is just like random bits of information I've grabbed from each of them in the trailer that are very like miscellaneous. I know it's weird to start off with the miscellaneous info, but this is what we have.
Uh-huh.
So, for Uni, there's two things in the trailer to do with Uni that are of interest to me. The first one is that near the end of the trailer, we see a point in which she's sort of like saying, "Oh, my name is on something." I think it's her that says that. And we see a shot with her where there's kind of like a beam that looks like it's going straight at her, straight into her eye.
Yeah.
And at first you might not even notice that like that is happening, but it looks to me as if time has somehow stopped for her. So I'm thinking this might be the place where something important happens for her story-wise. So that's just something small to keep aware of.
Hmm.
There is probably something to do with her name being on something. Maybe she's part of, I don't know, maybe an organisation she's not aware of. There's a lot of speculation to be had on what her part in the story is, but it will probably involve whatever she's talking about there.
Yeah, it could even be just this fact that, as I'm sure we'll get to, they all seem to be on the run. They all seem to be being
Yes, that's a
attacked by
good
both
point.
nations, so it could be related to that even. That she's just
Yeah,
on
it could
the
be.
let's get rid of these guys list.
Yeah, they literally have a wanted list like the one in Gormott at the
Yeah,
beginning as well.
we're gonna get the posters back.
There you go. I guess the next character to talk about quickly is Lance. I just want to talk about real quick. Lance, this is a very tiny thing. In one of the scenes, like right near the end, as they're all looking up,
Hmm.
his coat is done up, and oh my god, he is dripping. He is positively dripping. It looks really cool. I just wanted to point that out.
I do like the character designs. That's something we know from the first trailer, but they're all very solid, including the new ones. So,
Exactly. And then I guess the final thing relating to this cast is on the Japanese website there was a character map where the characters' relations with each other and their positions are all noted in different places. And between the
yes.
cast of the main six, particularly between the two interlinks that aren't Noah and Mio, we have some info on perhaps how they view each other and how their dynamics are going to work in the game.
Hmm.
Um, So we see that between Lanz and Cena, Lanz is worried about Cena's delicate personality, and Cena wants to just have a scrap with Lanz, basically.
Outside Liddles, let's go.
So yeah, I imagine that's going to be a thing where like Lanz is just like trying to, sort of help her out, and Cena's just trying to fight him all the time to prove that she's stronger. Probably some kind of comic relief dynamic going on there, I can imagine.
Definitely, yeah.
And then the only other one is Uni and Taeon. So it says that Uni can't really get a read on Taeon because he's quite, stoic in a way, quite calm. And then Taeon doesn't like Uni's attitude. So clearly they're, being the interlink as well, they are going to butt heads a lot because, Uni's very confrontational. Taeon sort of seems like he might be the smug type in the end. I ship it.
Yeah.
I ship it hard. It's
They've
probably
basically
a thing,
set
I don't
up
know.
the perfect ships if they want to with this chart. And
There's
the
a
whole
lot of
pairing
potential
system.
with that, yeah. Especially that, though, I don't know. But that's really all we get to know about the main six from that perspective, like outside of any story relating to all of them as a whole. We don't learn much about them as individuals yet, but I'm assuming that will just happen through the story as it goes.
Right, yeah, that makes sense.
I'm going to move on to Melia and Nia to talk about now. Well, of course there might not be, but I mean, are we in agreement that it's probably just the case at this point?
I mean, it sounds exactly like Jenna Coleman in this trailer again. It's gotta be.
It was much clearer in this trailer, I found, as well, that voice.
Yeah, I mean, if you want another theory, check out our April Fool's video, but for now, let's assume that it is them two, yes. I think we can safely assume that.
Yeah, and we didn't actually learn much about them again. They only showed up very briefly and didn't say much of importance. But they both seem hell-bent on destroying the Ouroboros, which we'll get to later.
Yes.
So, of course, they are leading these two big armies to come and fight the main cast. There's only one thing that I really gathered, and it's to do with colonies in each of the regions. So one thing that we've learned is that Kevis seems to have their colonies numbered, like you would on the Bionis. For example, it seems like Noah, possibly, and one of the other characters coming up called Ethel, the silver-haired girl, they seem to come from Colony 4. So that kind of implies that the rest of them will be numbered as well, which would also match what happens on Bionis, hence like Kevis being the Xenoblade 1 world.
Yeah.
And then Agnes seems to have theirs indicated by Greek letters, so they'll have Colony Lambda and Colony Delta are the two we know of.
Interesting.
Which isn't a thing you see in Xenoblade 2, but I guess it's just a cool different way of doing it other than numbers, so I'm kind of down with that.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, we see like some Latin and stuff in Xenoblade 2, but so
yeah, nothing like this.
Nothing quite that. Yeah.
I think it's a good way to contrast between the numbers of Kevis, though.
It is. They're definitely trying to make these two stand out, and we still don't know entirely what this means between how it relates to the worlds of Xenoblade 1 and 2, but it creates an interesting setup.
Yeah, definitely. But that's all we really get on that as well. There's not a lot on the main characters. There's so much emphasis on the side ones, though.
Oh, yes.
So, moving on to the Nopon, of course. I guess you could call this a Nopon PowerPoint at this point, right?
Pretty much. You can never have too many Nopon.
Yeah. We have Riku and Manana, who we'd already seen, but, we've learnt a lot more about them now.
Yes. For a start, we have names, which is...
We do, yep. That wasn't a thing before, I don't believe.
Manana is just the most Nopon-sounding name you could get. Meanwhile, they've gone to Kingdom Hearts for Riku, but still, Riku. I like it.
I wonder, the thing is with the theming, of course, where the name of the main character Nopon in each game has appeared in the previous Xenoblade entry. So I wonder if there was a Nopon in either Future Connected or Xenoblade 2/Torna that was called Riku or Manana.
I feel like I would have noticed Riku, but I might
someone
not have
would have
Manana.
pointed it out by now, you know what I mean? There
Yeah,
would have been
that feels
someone
like...
who points it out.
But Manana is one that perfectly blends in as like a just a generic NPC Nopon. So it's definitely, that could be in there somewhere.
Yeah, maybe something to think about. So these two, they are confirmed to be like party members, at the very least temporary, but they are party members. They fight as a duo, which is very interesting. They seem to just be like a combo doing their own thing, which I actually quite like. They're just
Ice climbers represent, yeah.
So as for their characters, we know that Riku is the boy Nopon from Kevis, and Manana is from Agnes. It seems that Riku, it says in his description, is in charge of mechanics for the Kevis army, and he seems to be like a weapons repairman or something like that. So he fights for the Kevis army. Well, he did, and now he's joined the main cast.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
So I didn't notice. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of you, but I noticed it says Manana is in charge of cooking stuff.
Yes.
Is Riku basically in mechanics basically Nopon Shulk, and in charge of cooking Manana's basically Nopon Pyra? I mean,
You're
am I
actually
wrong?
not far off.
Yeah.
You're not far off. I mean, really.
It matches the sides.
It does. It really does. I mean, there's potential there. I
She's
don't
got
know.
the red hair as well. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if that
I
means
would
anything.
really,
Probably doesn't.
I would really, really like if there was like a part of the game's menus or something that involved these two skills. So, if there was, we'll get onto weapons in the other video because there's a lot going on with that.
Yes.
But maybe if there's like a little mini game like Dragon Quest XI style where he repairs or builds weapons and then Manana can cook. Yeah, I think that would be cool if that was a thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against seeing field skills given a bit more implementation in a more expansive way here.
Yeah. Well, we haven't actually seen field skills at all in the game so far, to my knowledge.
True.
So very interesting.
Very true.
The only other thing to note about them, apart from that, is that although they seem temporary, I get the feeling that they're going to be the most permanent of all the temporary party members of sorts. Maybe if they are temporary indeed.
I mean, they are given a prominent role on the character chart, which is
They are, yeah. So I'm going to take a guess that they are maybe temporary at points throughout the game, but then by the very end of it, by some point near the end of the game, they become permanent in some depth. I'm not really sure.
I could see that, yeah.
And then, the final thing to talk about with them is that in one of the scenes with Manana, we see that she's like spinning on her shield, which I assume she uses to attack. And you can kind of see in the background a bunch of like arachno that are upside down. So I'm just going to go ahead and assume that is their that's their character intro in the game. Is that the team is in some kind of industrial place by the looks of it here. They're about to get attacked by some arachno, and then Riku and Manana come in like a really comical way to take out the arachno.
Yeah.
I mean, it would suit perfectly for Nopon, I think. This is like the perfect setup for their introduction, so I'd be cool if that was the case.
It is interesting, despite the fact, Nopon are typically the goofy comedy relief characters, and these would fit that. We haven't actually seen any of that in the trailer. Besides the sort of, bit of a goofy shield spinning, we don't really see any of that, so it'll be interesting. They could throw us for a curveball and they're not comedy relief, but they're Nopon, they've kind of got to be, you expect it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I get the feeling that even if they do have still the goofy side and maybe a little bit of comic relief, we really haven't seen much that refers to them being, like, ultra jokey characters. They seem like, Riku especially, seems like he might have sort of more impact on the story or be more serious. I don't know.
Yeah.
We've got to wait and see, but, like, yeah, that side of them's not exactly been shown yet.
True.
But that's all we really can glean from them. Again, they do seem to be in battle and have moves, like a couple of other characters. That will, again, get touched on in the battle video for the gameplay.
Yeah.
Now we're moving on to a couple of the other side characters, and with these, what I'm going to say is, of course there'll be images on screen for them so you can tell who we're talking about, but they have been given Japanese names. We don't know if they're the English names yet,
Right.
but I'm going to try and get used to using them, even if I keep forgetting. And after the next 5 minutes, I will forget their name.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Ethel, the silver-haired lass from Kevis, who kind of
I
showed
like-
up in the first couple seconds of the trailer.
I like how you say Ethel, because if you say Ethel, it sounds like a 90-year-old woman or something. So yeah, you got to make it sound more Xenoblade.
I didn't know it was an actual name, to be fair. Is that like a name people have?
I think Ethel's sort of like a much older name, so...
Oh, I never knew that.
Yeah.
I thought this was just like a Xenoblade name, like a Shulk or whatever. Okay.
No, that's a name, yeah.
Oh, mad one, you learn something new.
You do.
So, she seems to be like an antagonist of sorts, giving me strong Morag vibes in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
She opposes the party, she sees them as monsters, that's what she calls them. She has like dual swords, not dual whip swords like Morag has, but she does have dual swords. She is a Kevis member in the high in the military. I don't remember, did she have like an actual title? Chief of Military is her title.
I could definitely see the Morag vibes from that, yes.
Yeah, also known as Silver Ethel. So she is apparently from Colony 4, and it says that she helped Noah when Noah was like a child soldier, by the looks of it.
Oh yeah.
And is fated enemies with the Agnes general called Cam Navi, which we'll get to shortly.
Yes.
So what do you think of her?
I mean, I like the design, straight away.
Yeah, it's really good.
But
I really like it.
you kind of, it's one of those characters where you do, it's interesting you pointed out she's like Morag. You do wonder, she's probably not full evil, but is she going to, which way is she going to swing? Because it feels like to me it could be the kind of character who starts up helpful but then goes too far and ends up becoming a real antagonist. Or it could swing the other way and ends up helping you out and joining your side, but I can't get my finger on what yet. Or which way that will go.
I am leaning towards currently that she opposes the party at first, and then maybe like halfway through the game or so she'll realise, oh, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we
so
don't know
I don't
how
think
many
she'll
of
be.
these...
I don't think she'll be an antagonist in the end game.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know how many, and this will go into more in gameplay, but there are the 7th character slot you can swap out, and we don't know how many of those extra characters there will be. She could definitely possibly be one. It's not... That would make sense.
It would, especially for the late game, because we didn't see anything late game in that trailer, so
No.
I wouldn't put it past them, definitely. But yeah, she's sort of a girl boss.
Yeah.
You know. So that's her. You know, I'm cool with it. I think again, very good design. She is just going to be like a huge enemy for the first half of the game, as again a Morag type, I think.
Yeah, respected enemy in a way, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So that'll be a thing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. She definitely got a lot of focus in the trailer though, and I know people are definitely enjoying the design as well. So that's always good.
Yes.
From the opposing side, we've got two characters kind of standing for Agnes. The first one is one called Isurugi. Isurugi, I don't know, but...
Yeah.
So his design, he's wearing like clear sort of Agnes clothing. He's got pretty like suave hair. I like the hair. And he's kind of got like a blue like line going across his face. I don't really know what to make of that yet.
It's not ether lines, is it?
It could be.
Are we looking at... Because we still don't know how blades... This trailer didn't give us any more hints really of how blades are going to work in this game.
There was nothing.
So there's literally no new information at all. So it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Or it could just be a fancy marking, to represent his status or something.
It could be, yeah. I wouldn't put it past them. So he is, of course, an Agnes member. He is the best tactician in Agnes, the chief of military. He comes from Colony Lambda, that's how we found out about that name. And seems to have, as a weapon, like two sort of twin ring swords, by the looks of it. Yeah, we don't really see much of those, but they look pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe you can use them both as twin rings and dual swords. That's a really cool, like, fusion weapon, if we can see that in a couple cutscenes in the future.
Absolutely.
I suppose the only other thing is he claims revenge on the party. That's what he's like. He's aggro towards them, saying, "I will have revenge on you." So I don't know what they thought that the main party has done, but there's that.
Yeah.
Probably, I think that he is going to be something in the middle of the game where, like, he is also opposing us, and then we make him realise he's not our enemy. There's like a whole plot arc with him and Tyon through this time as well.
I was going to point out, yeah, it says he was his former subordinate of his, so...
Yeah, there's definitely going to be a link there. I think that's where Tyon's going to have his plot arc. They'll both kind of have them at the same time through the middle of the game somewhere.
I very much see this as a sort of a loyalty to the Queen sort of thing, perhaps, where, it's a kind of one of those cases of they're being instructed by their leaders. You see this in a lot of shows and anime and games and all sorts. And people follow these leaders blindly, but don't question the reasoning why. And it might be at some point in the game when they discover why, that could be the turning point. When we start to figure out what have these guys done that is causing them to be under attack. So...
Yeah, I think both Isurugi and Ethel have a good chance of being characters in that arc from both sides.
Yeah.
Maybe if you do both of them around the mid-game, you can, like, choose which one to do first or something like that. I mean, I doubt it, but that would be pretty crazy if you could, like, choose the order that you dealt with them in.
And it's interesting that, we sort of got... I think it's we've got these sort of two characters on the Agnes side, whereas on the Keva side that we've seen so far, it's only Ethel who's been shown off. So I do wonder if there's going to be another character there, or if there's a specific reason why we haven't just got these two on each side who are antagonists, but we've got Isurugi in as a third one. Like, what role is he going to have? I think he's even more likely to turn away from his side due to the fact that we have a guy above him specifically.
Yeah, I think part of the reason might actually be because just Ethel is going to be like a bigger character. She strikes me as that. So maybe that's why, but yeah, there could also just be another character. That's something I'll get onto in a little bit, is in actually the story section, not even the characters section.
Yeah.
But there's some speculation to be had. But yeah, that's really it for him. But again, he's got a cool design. I'm looking forward to seeing like how he develops and what his deal's going to be with Tyon, what he thinks they've done.
Yeah.
Next character is the other one mentioned, and this is Cam Navi. So he is from Colony Delta on Agnes, known as the Crimson Lotus, and he controls like the big machine that we see on Agnes. So he's the same sort of chief military position that Ethel is.
I had to check for a minute that I wasn't watching a Fire Emblem game, because he looks like someone straight out of Fates.
He does. He actually does look like a Fates character. Yeah. So he's meant to be like he's a known warrior according to Mio, and he's a fated opponent with Ethel, which makes sense. But his design is very interesting,
Out of all of the sort of side characters we've seen, he definitely looks the most antagonistic.
Yes,
I feel
he does.
If anyone's going to stay in to their side and be a true antagonist to the end, I feel like it's going to be this guy.
Yeah, he's definitely like an undying loyalty kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Honestly, it reminds me a little bit of like Jadeface from Xenoblade 1.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
In a weird way, like it's sort of the attitude that might be had there.
Yes, sort of like a noble to his cause, but to a fault in a sense.
Yeah, like almost a simple, a more simple appearing character.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure he'll still get like good development, but he's very much like a straight-laced, I'm gonna just do my job type character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like his design. He has got one of the most unique ones, like you say, because it looks like his shoulder pad and his hair are both flaming.
Right.
Like they're both actively burning, and he wields like a huge fire lance.
Again, is this Blade related? That's very much a Blade sort of design, or it could just be.
Well could be.
It's hard to tell in this sort of game. Like, is it just crazy anime designs, or is it actually referring to something more detailed, like being a blade. And I would not be surprised. I think I would even assume that he might be.
Yeah, I think he's, out of everyone, he's got one of the biggest indicators that he might be a blade.
Yes.
Or either that, or that, like, even if not that, there's got to be something about him that's enabling him to have a flaming shoulder pad.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why
yeah.
else you would have one.
Look, it's all about style. It's all about the drip guy.
Maybe that's why, yeah.
It's half the battle is the drip.
Yeah, we haven't got to see his full drip, unfortunately, but I think his design looks cool so far. I do like it. And I think that... I don't think he's going to be, like, many people's favourite characters, but he's one that definitely is in a role that needs to be filled, in a sense.
Yes.
So yeah, I like him. He's good.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have Valdi. Valdi? I'm not sure how to pronounce that name.
Anyone's guess.
This is one that was... Huh?
It's anyone's guess at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. So this guy, or lass, I can't actually tell, to be honest, is... Their name is confirmed in English because it was in the English trailer for the gameplay.
Yes.
They are once more a confirmed, at least temporary party member. A support type in particular, whereas the Nopon were attack-based. What we know of him in terms of the story is that all of the cutscenes, I've noticed, take place in one single area for this character. In an area that looks like Kevis territory, based on both the walls looking like landmass from Xenoblade 1 and also the flooring just strikes me as Kevis.
Yeah.
We see him taking on a big bot that looks like the exact same huge machine that Ethel used in an earlier trailer. I don't think she's actually controlling this one, but you know, it seems like this character to me is like a mechanic type character, you know, focusing on building machinery as people from Kevis do.
That would make sense, yeah.
Has like a machine, it has like a drone bot in one of the scenes that holds up a huge shield, which I think it would be very cool if we had a character that just like builds robots like that.
Yeah, I think, you know, the real question is looking at them, and obviously, as you pointed out, is their similarity to lands. Is what is this? What is the meaning of that? Like, is this a new species? Why have we only
that's
seen
what I'm thinking.
2 of them?
Yeah.
And that's the case. Like, why? Because it seems like we've mostly got. I mean, we have Hyentia, we have Nopon, we have Gormoti, and we have normal humans. But then we've only seen 2 of these sort of land style, whatever species they are, and they're not ones from a previous game. They're the only one that really stand out as particularly unique.
Yeah, they are the only 2 that we've seen so far.
Yeah, so
it's a bit confusing.
You do kind of wonder, what does that mean? Like, could they even be like they're 2? I don't know. I mean, I don't think they are. I'm throwing out blades again. Are they 2 blades who are awakened by the same guy? Like, maybe they were blades awakened by a Machina or something, but that's a stretch. Or maybe there's some relation to the Machina, but...
That's my best guess so far, is that they have some kind of relation possibly to the Machina.
Yeah.
Or it's like a Machina Homs thing.
That could be it. Actually, that would make sense. Well, I mean, I wouldn't
at
say
the
it
very
makes sense,
least-
but it's...
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the fact that we've seen at least 2 of them means that this isn't something special specifically with lands. It very well could be a wider thing that a lot of characters look like.
Yes. Seems like it, yeah. They're definitely playing holding their cards close to their chest at the moment, so they're not giving too much away.
Yeah.
Which I like, to be fair, because I don't want to know everything going into the game.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we're sort of thinking that possibly is related to lands, maybe like a younger sibling here.
Yes.
That
would make sense.
Probably the most likely option.
Maybe they're the new Juju for this game.
Honestly, out of all the characters, this is the most likely one.
I dare to invoke his name. It could happen.
I mean, yeah, so we'll have to see how that develops, but this character is going to be very interesting, maybe to give us more light on Kebis, maybe give us some more sort of background to do with lands. Yeah, it should be good. And we also see that they join the party at level 23, so kind of sort of early-ish game, not too early.
Yeah.
But that's a good sort of indicator for how far through the game you might see them. That's really all we have on that character, just it looks like they might build robots, which is pretty cool. Next up is one of the big ones that we've seen before, and this is Vandam. Now, before, of course, we were like, is this Vandam? Isn't this Vandam? Who is this? And at the very least, we can confirm that the character's name is Vandam, because, of course, the namesake is always carried through the games.
Right, yeah. The question is...
I suspect that this is a new character, and the reason he looks like that is to just honour Xenoblade 2 Vandam, but that's only speculation.
Yeah, I feel like that's the best explanation, the easiest explanation for it. Otherwise, we're opening like a can of worms of how, and it wouldn't be anti-Xenoblade for it to go in depth in some ridiculous way in that. But I do think you're likely right. It's probably just continuing the homage and just upping up the homogenous this time. That's not a word, but sure.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean though. So, from him in the trailer, he talks a lot again. And he seems to be sort of knowledgeable on the Ouroboros stuff going on. Yes. Between all the characters. He seems to very much be on their side. So there's he's probably a neutral force that maybe also isn't welcome in either nation. And when they realise that and they don't know what to do, he gives them refuge for a short time.
That would make sense, yeah.
You know, sort of is their mentor to teach them about Ouroboros, if you will. I very much suspect he'll take that role early-ish in the game.
Yeah.
As for his appearance, we get to see a little bit more of him. So he has like these goggles on, which are kind of funny. I guess he's, again, trained in whatever he's dealing with there. It looks like an Agnes bomb of some kind. And also in his artwork, he's got like some thick lips. Really got a chuckle out of me last night because I was just looking at it. Like, damn, my guy. He's got some filler in there or something.
Adam's got to look his best. I can see my word. Oh gosh, he's like doing the full pout.
You see what I mean?
I do see what you mean, yeah. He's giving the eye as well.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh my guy. But yeah, apart from that though, I like his design.
Yeah.
I guess the only other thing is, again, we don't know what this guy's deal is. I'm gonna shout this out because my dad asked, because again, my dad's very into Xenoblade now. He thinks that this is Zeke, older, and I actually saw someone on Reddit say the exact same thing. I don't think it's that though. The accent alone is enough for me to think not.
I feel like that's a pretty safe bet it isn't, but I do find it interesting that he does look like him. I can see where that comes from. Like with the hair colour and the eye patch.
And the other thing is, because Zeke is a Blade Eater, it would be feasible for him to live longer, like Melly and Leah do. So, I still don't think it is, but
no,
it raises a point that it's not impossible for Zeke to appear in the game at the very least.
That's true.
Because of his age.
That.
Yeah. The one final thing with him, and I think this was again on the Japanese website possibly, is that he tells the party to aim for Sword March, which is a location that we heard in the first trailer very vaguely.
Yes.
So he's telling them to go there, and I think he also said, it might have been a mistranslation, but like go somewhere where you can see the big sword, or something like that. Whether it's referring to Sword Valley, because that's a huge sword in the ocean that we can see in the background, or
like
a different Sword March. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'd imagine maybe Sword March is like a place that leads up to it or goes past it. I mean, granted, you think you'd be able to see it from a lot of places given how huge it is, but maybe there's like a particular viewpoint.
Yeah, or very possibly Sword March is a place we already know, but they've renamed in the game.
That's true. It could even be like climbing up it, but vertically.
Yeah, that'd be cool, like World Tree style.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to give Xenoblade 2 spoilers? Just.
I'll put a little text box up at the front of the video just to let them know.
Alright.
I thought that was kind of a given Xenoblade 3.
Yeah, with
nature of
everything
the game.
already.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's all we really have on him. But I do want to move swiftly on to the next character, who is this evil fusion guy that we see, like Nightmare Fuel Persona Man.
Yeah.
So he's like an evil Ouroboros of sorts.
I mean, the first two things I noticed, which I don't think these necessarily mean anything, but his look, his face reminds me of Wulfric immediately, with like the sharp teeth.
It does. It reminded me of mutated Gort, personally.
That's what was going to be the second one I said.
Makes sense. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's actually going to be the second one I bring up. Yeah, it reminds me of both. The voice made me think of Gort immediately, and just like the effect that they use on his voice. So I do wonder. And
it's also like Australian, I believe. I'm not sure.
Yes. I do wonder if there's. I don't think it is him, but I do wonder if there's some sort of connection to, Blade Eater, Titan Eater technology with the Ouroboros. Like, is there some sort of connection there? I mean, in the first place, actually, this is the first time I'm really looking at this, but no, I was going to say it's like one of each pair up a blade, but I don't think either Uni and Tyon are a blade. But we have got that with Mia and Senna, but yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there could be something there.
Yeah. So he's like a huge evil Ouroboros. He's called the Mysterious Giant or Big Monster in the Japanese. Of course, that's not going to hold up in the English. Although, I mean, I might call him Mysterious Giant. He seems to have like very strong battle capabilities. He's like taking down the whole party. He's got like dual dagger type things growing out of him, and he can shoot projectiles. So very strong, obviously, and this guy is of course going to have a lot of impact. For his appearance, of course, Nightmare Fuel with the teeth and eyes. But the thing I find most interesting is his chest. In the other cores of the other Ouroboros, they've got like another weird core thing. But this guy's one is like dark purple and has the infinity symbol in it.
Right.
So what does that mean? Is going to be a huge mystery that we're going to try and have to figure out during the game, I'm sure.
Because
I think it's relevant.
If he is an Ouroboros, however you say it, if he is one of those, that does raise the question, of course, of what two people fused to make him.
Yep.
And is it a case of this is what happens? Because I know in the game, and we'll get into in gameplay, as a gameplay mechanic, you can't stay in it too long, or it overheats.
Correct.
I wonder if there's actually like a story danger that if you stay in it too long, something bad that you could get stuck in it and it could
turn
start
into
to corrupt
this.
You. Yeah,
that would be crazy, but not impossible actually. That's wow. Yeah, that's a very good point. I didn't even think of that.
I do wonder. I mean, I don't think the two people who, if he is one of those, if the two people who fused him, I don't think they're going to be familiar characters from a past game or anything. But it will be interesting to find out who they could be.
Well, I do have a theory that I've seen floating around that I actually kind of see, and it's that one of the two characters is Vandam from this game.
Ooh.
Because, I mean, when you think about it, it adds up. Vandam in this game is very knowledgeable on Ouroboros, like we said.
That's true.
And he's the one who's, in his dialogue through the trailer, is talking about unlocking their Ouroboros and that sort of thing. And we see that Noah and Mio's one is unlocked while fighting this thing. So maybe Vandam is part of this thing and is helping them unlock it? I don't know. Maybe, probably not, but like,
he feels a bit too antagonistic. But
yeah,
it could be a case, if it was to be Vandam, I think it would be more of a case of like, what do you call it? The Dr. Jekyll thing, whatever, where it's like one form is he can't control it. He's not fully aware of when it does happen. I feel like I don't think he's going to be
that. Yeah.
I don't think he will be purposely antagonistic. But
I agree.
There's potential there though.
Yeah, and also if it is him, or just in general based on the voice, if you compare the voices of the other Ouroboroses compared to this one is way deeper. It sounds like this one is actually two males or just one male that's been corrupted, like you say, compared to the
Yeah.
others that are all one male, one female, where the voices are mixed into something in the middle.
That
So
could be, yeah.
that's also something to keep in mind in terms of the identity of who this could be. Outside of that, there's not really much. I suspect that he's going to show up and kind of. I mean, there's a big story thing that I'll talk about later, like my take on what the story might end up being. But I think he'll definitely be an important catalyst early on, and then he'll persevere also, maybe through to like 2/3 of the game, like Metalface.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll be like an end game thing. We'll learn the secret behind why he is the way he is, and then he'll be done for some higher power to instead be the enemy after that. But
Yeah, so I don't think this doesn't look like a main antagonist. As in, like, the primary antagonist, I should say.
yeah, but the main thing for me to work out with him is number one, his identity, and then two, what the infinity symbol on his chest could mean, because that to me could very well relate to the the theory of the timers that everyone has on them before they die.
Yeah.
So
That's
the fact that he has an infinity one might be that he's some kind of like a huge terror on everyone that's going around, and I don't know. There could be something about that.
Definitely could be, yeah.
But hey, big antagonist scene, not bad.
Yeah.
We do have 3 final characters to look at, but these are like very quick because we know next to nothing about them.
Yes.
So the first is Xeon, which we see in the English trailer as one of the temporary party members at level 33. We know nothing about him. We don't even think he got any lines of dialogue, wasn't in any cutscenes. He was just in like a couple of frames.
Yeah.
We see that he is a defense type character. He wields like a lance of sorts. And he is from Kevis because he has Kevis uniform on. And is possibly the brother of Uni because he also has wings on his head.
Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
Though his wings aren't white, which I've noticed.
I did see that, yeah. I mean, I don't think... we have seen characters with other colours, but...
We could just task it up to evolution or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, he could be like half Homs, half Hyensia. Possibly, and something to do with the genes has made it that he's got, non-white coloured hair, which also means he has non-white coloured wings. Something
I
like
could
that.
see that, yeah.
So, he'll be there. He'll probably be part of Uni's arc through the middle of the game by the looks of it. Kind of interesting how we've seen so far a sibling of both Lands and Uni by the looks of it, and also someone relating closely to Taion as well in Isuragi. So, those 3 characters have all got a strong link to someone.
Yes,
already.
they're definitely building up potential for conflict and within the 2 nations and people who might help them potentially when, they are on the run.
And of course, like, I think Noah and Mio are the 2 main characters, so they can be excluded. So outside of that, it's only sort of Cena that we haven't witnessed a close relationship with any other character yet. But I do have a theory for one, which we can lead into with the next character. I'm going to swap the order of the last 2.
Sure.
And it's this young girl, the green-haired girl, that we know nothing about.
Yes.
All we know is that she wields what looks to be like maybe a bow of some kind, but we can't really tell.
It looks like it, yeah. And we only see it for like one very quick shot, so it does not give much away at all.
Yeah, it's hard to even make out what clothing she's wearing to decide where she's from, but it looks to me like she'll be from Agnes. It would make sense if it's Cena's like sort of linked character as well. But yeah, she's a real wild card. Will probably appear in the middle of the game as another temporary party member of sorts. Good supporting character. Seems most likely.
Yeah.
And then the final one is Nimue. Nimue is a character we hear by name only in the trailer. And then we also see like a brief image of what I think is her. So she is going to be related to Taion and Isuragi's story, I think, inevitably. It sounds like she's dead, and she's the reason Isurugi's trying to get revenge on the party.
Yes, yeah.
Maybe they think that the big monster thing or the big Ouroboros killed her at some point in the past. Maybe even recently in the past, and because he's seen that the party can use Ouroboroses, he thinks that they were the ones who did it.
Yeah,
So,
I can see that definitely being the case. That'd be a good vengeance motive.
yeah, there'll be like a whole arc of him trying to get revenge. Tyon is like a focus of it being like, no. I really like her character design though. It'll be a shame if we only see her in flashbacks, because it's like very nice hair.
It is.
All we really know about her apart from that is that she's an Agnes member. She's holding some kind of a pendant, maybe from Isurugi, and she has like a crystal hand and a horn coming out of her forehead.
Yeah.
What? Again, blade is the first question.
You feel it's like, if either got to be a blade or something, or she's being attacked by something with ice, but or something.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
It looks more like it's like the fact of like the horn. It looks like a permanent feature, not just a temporary. It's hard to say though.
Yeah. There's something unique about her, if it isn't just that she's a blade. But yeah, we'll have to. Again, I think she's purely just going to be part of that plot arc, maybe.
Certainly plausible, yeah.
Still though, I really like the character design. I think it's great.
Yeah, they're all very strong in this.
And that is all of it for the characters.
Yes.
And we are already
right.
45 minutes in.
Oh god.